Fox News, MSNBC was unaware the Harris campaign gave $500,000 to Al Sharpton's group ahead of a friendly interview. The Harris campaign gave two $250,000 donations to Sharpton's nonprofit. Holy crap. So it was to the National Action Network, which is, I guess it's his nonprofit. That's a lot of money. And boy, is that a massive conflict of interest.
Is he going to use it to pay his taxes now?
No.
No?
No. And he's not going to give it to anybody that got hurt in the riot that he stirred up in the 80s.
Here's the quote. Today is your birthday, he said. We all reflect on our birthdays, what our life would mean. You call me on my birthday. Thanks again. What do you want 50 years from now, history to say about Kamala Harris? Before I read this, let me just ask Phil, what do you want people to say about you 50 years from now?
That they enjoyed some of the music that I made and they enjoyed some of the conversations that I've had.
Okay, let me try and convert that into Kamala-ese. I hope that 50 years from now, there are people who look back at the past 50 years and think about how long 50 years has been. And the work that I have done over 50 years is really important, and that the conversations we had in the span of that 50 years, as long as I was around, is something that 50 years is worth. And okay, she said, I hope, okay, here's the quote. I hope that, and I really do work that, my life will have proven to have been a life that is about fighting for people, fighting for the dignity of people. Could she not have just said, when he asks, 50 years from now, what do you want people to say about you? That I fought for people.
Kamala Harris is, she's a wordsmith.
Yeah. I don't know if wordsmith is the right way to describe it, but
she beats the shit out of words.
She's a word abuser.
Yeah,
but it sounds like she spent all this time in Hawaii last week. She was there for a week, came back looking about at least 10 years older, which, is really impressive.
Yeah, Hawaii is very relaxing.
Right. Well, except for when you're there for the reasons that I was there.
Well, yeah, you were there.
But anyway, she goes out there, she comes back, and apparently learned nothing. Nobody learned anything while they were out there. She didn't learn how to speak.
But why would she?
So they go on to mention that she paid Oprah's company $1 million, right?
Actually, I believe it came out that it's now 1.5.
It says the campaign made two $500,000 payments to Oprah Winfrey's Oprah Productions.
And then the full price of the event was closer to 2.5.
The full price of the event was closer to 2.5. So let me just, I know this for the rabble, as the MSNBC and the New York Times might describe them, the rabble are completely unaware of how media works and why this is such a big deal. If you are going to be interviewed, especially if you are a political individual, a politician or running for office, you cannot pay in any way. I'll tell you a story. I had a journalist come to my office a long time ago, and I said, "We have drinks," and he goes, "Oh no, I can't accept anything." I said, "Okay." Journalist ethics for these companies, they can't accept gifts. In any degree or any kind or anything. You can't even give them a soda. I'm not kidding. They say, I can't accept something from you. It's a conflict of interest. We're going to tell this story. And so this is literally Oprah and Al Sharpton getting, what, $500,000 or $1 million?
For the friendly interview. That's the part that I found the most interesting about that, is using the term friendly. So I was actually talking about it earlier because there was like a new poll that came out today it was posted on Breitbart that was talking about all of the celebrities that got money or that were involved in the campaign, the Beyoncés, the Taylor Swifts, whether it's just posting on social media or not. And you think about $500,000, $1 million for a friendly interview. But the thing is that's not what people want now. What people want now is a 3-hour raw interview because that takes risk, right? So if she's going to go to Oprah or she's going to go and do an interview with Al Sharpton, what she's paying for is not just production, or we would hope wouldn't be considered just production. It's because they're people that are going to be positive towards your message and what you're talking about, but it costs you nothing to go on Joe Rogan and speak for 3 hours.
And Joe Rogan's not using a teleprompter. Trump isn't using a teleprompter.
And what people want is the authenticity that comes from that interview. It costs you less, it gains you more ground, but the problem is you actually have to be coherent when you talk.
Let me throw another thing about this. They're trying to say that this is just covering production costs, like she was putting on a show or whatever.
$2.5 million.
Still, I mean, either way, you can't do that. It's a conflict of interest for these media personalities and these news outlets. But another way to look at it is, let's say legitimately that money just goes to cover the costs of that event. Mm-hmm. Let's say Brett runs a media company. He's 8 months into the year and he's got a $1 million profit. And along comes a politician who says, I want to do an interview and a big show. You will have me. Good luck. He says, man, it's going to cost me $1 million to put this show on. That's all my profit for the year. I don't want to do it. Then the politician says, we'll cover the cost. And they go, okay, now we'll do it. Basically, what's happening is you are still paying them to do the event. They can just assign the money for that event, which is in excess of the money they already have. So let me put it this way. Brett says, okay, I'll do the show, takes his $1 million profit, invests it in the show, and then a month later gets paid out $1 million. That should technically be his profit, but he just assigns that to cost and says, no, it just costs. My money came from something else.
You think you could have done that? You watched that interview, I'm assuming, right? Or at least parts of it, because, I mean, I don't think I could get through that entire interview either. But $2.5 million, do you think you could have done that for $2.5 million?
How much was Oprah's fee?
That's what I'm saying. So you see that interview on the street with her where a TMZ or somebody comes up to her and asks her, hey, did you get paid $1 million? And she says very clearly, I didn't get paid anything. No, because the production company that is a single member LLC that you are the sole member of got paid $2.5 million. So you didn't get paid anything.
I want to give a shout out to this super chatter. Jesse Mann says, she talks like she is trying to hit the 5K word minimum on a high school paper. What if like, the Democrats are just like, Kamala, whatever you do, we need at least 1,000 words per speech. And she's like, okay. And she's like counting in her head, like, 1, 2.
Just a running total going ting, ting, ting.
Take a look at this video. Savannah Hernandez posted this saying, damn, this woman has aged 10 years in like 2 weeks. Seriously. I'm not trying to be a dick, but look at this.
I just have to
The lighting isn't doing her any favors either.
Don't you ever let anybody take your power from you.
Don't
She's slurring.
you do it.
You have the same power
I saw someone
She's
made
slurring.
that you did before November.
She's
5th.
drunk.
She's got to be drunk.
And you have the same
Michael Malice laid it all out for you.
that you did.
Oh, those eyes
And
are
you
so
have
low.
the same ability to engage,
Oh, dude, she is strong. No
and
way.
inspire. So don't ever let anybody or any circumstance take your power
Yeah,
from
this
you.
sounds like every old woman that I've
just-
sat next to at the bar that's
Yeah.
trying to give me a life lesson. Like, this is exactly what they sound like.
Let's just chill real quick. Just very quickly. I am not trying to be mean. Yo, she legit sounds plastered.
Yeah.
Yes. And this is a
The
gift.
words are soft as she finishes talking. That's hallmark of
This
this.
is a gift. This is a gift for us. This is her apology for wasting our time, and this is a gift. She's like,
gonna
here,
finish with,
enjoy the memes that will come from
But
this.
she doesn't have any script writers anymore. She doesn't have anybody doing any production
She's
work because
$20
she's
million
$20 million in debt.
She's gonna finish with like,
I gotta
love
push
you,
back on
man.
that. I'm okay. You did. I'm gonna have to ask you. You have a credit card?
Do I have a credit card? I do, yes.
Do you have any money? You have a debt on it? And a debt on it?
I do not.
So it's all paid off?
All paid off.
Okay. Do you have a car loan?
No.
You have a mortgage?
No. I know what you're trying to do here. But
Yeah. Do you have
I
rent?
don't.
Do you owe anybody money?
At the moment, I don't. But I know exactly what you're talking about.
debt doesn't
but
mean you have no
How does
money.
she pay it off? I know it doesn't. It doesn't mean that, but she's got to pay it at some point, right? She owes people $20 million. Where is she going to get that money from? She's going to get it from people that she's emailing now.
Unless she still has $30 million in her account.
Is that possible? Are those financials available?
I don't know. The
That's not what
point
it
is,
says on the FEC report, but I don't know.
how much does the FEC report say she has in holdings?
So the FEC report, I didn't see any cash on hand on the FEC reports. All you see is but the problem is you also have so many other entities. You have the PACs, you have the super PACs, you have the Kamala Fight Fund, and and then you also have the Kamala Harris for President Fund. So you have all these different funds. You don't really know, but at this point, for the past 2 reports that she's filed, because you have to file a 15-day post, and then also there's going to be a 30-day post. So we're going to see here very shortly if she actually still has that debt moved. Is there less debt? I don't know, but how do you? And you got to think about
They
it.
are fundraising.
They start up. They're fundraising for
a
what?
recount.
For a false promise.
For a recount.
Right. I see that as a false promise.
So they fundraise for a recount, and the argument from the press was that it's for other recounts in Congress or something to that effect. But when I saw the statement,
There's a disclaimer on the bottom. It tells you what it's for.
It did what I saw initially from their announcement of a fundraiser, it just said recount fundraiser. It didn't say anything about any other campaigns.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember back in 2020 when Trump was fundraising and stuff after the 2020 election, there was also a thing there too where the Democrats were hitting him because like 3% of it were going to paying back campaign debt. And so, but in this case, the percentage is a lot higher for going to pay back campaign debt because that's what it's actually for. I mean, but you even have to think about it. Okay, if you have a $1.5 billion in cash on hand, say we get to the 30-day mark and they still have massive amounts of debt. Say they've paid down $5 million in debt. What does that do for the Democrat Party at that point? Because they're on the hook for it. Somebody's got to pay for that.
No.
Why not? They're just going to file for bankruptcy and then move on.
Campaign is going to cease to exist.
Okay, but who's going to keep giving? Who's going to give $20 million of credit to the Democrat candidates at this point? If they're not going to be paid back?
Every single company.
They typically do pay back. I mean, they typically end up doing that. But
when if an entity has $1 million and and you see in the press and everyone knows they have $1 million. And let's say Kamala says we want to hire a production company. It's $100,000. They say, okay, it's 10,000 or it's 25,000 down, and then you got to pay the next half once on the day of, and then we have you have 2 weeks to pay the rest. So likely a lot of this debt is not just they took out a credit line for $1 million and then never paid them anything. They likely made down payments and semi-payments and still owe them remaining on the books. So it's probably a bunch of different entities they owe partial each to. So these companies each see them paying a sum. It's not like someone one day went to an organization that was completely broke and said, we'll extend you a $20 million line of credit. It's probably what's going to happen in the future is a Democratic campaign is going to raise $1 billion and everyone's going to beg to work with them because they're going to get paid. They get paid stupid amounts of money to work on these campaigns. Mm-hmm. And then if the company ends up going in debt, everybody expects this. If they're like, if she wins, we're good. If she loses, we're in trouble.
Yeah, but at what point do you look at this from the standpoint of, okay, do you really want this person in control of the federal budget? When you go, I mean, you got to.
No, I mean,
look,
look, she's
at
not.
the end of the day, even if there's still cash on hand to pay off that $20 million in debt, I don't know why you wouldn't just pay it.
I'll push back on that a little bit. They argue that Donald Trump has several bankruptcies, therefore he shouldn't be in charge of the federal budget. But it's like, look, if the Harris campaign and Democrats did mismanage money, okay, fine. But everyone keeps saying, haha, she's $20 million in debt, and I'm like, Donald Trump, I think, has more debt than she does. I think Donald Trump's debt is substantially higher.
He's also got assets to back.
So the question is, what are Kamala Harris's campaign's assets?
That was, okay.
But look at it, $1.5 billion over a 3-month period. She managed to blow through that and still get blown out of the water in the election. That would be my argument. That would be my counter argument to that. Clearly, she can't manage money. They have no idea how to use it effectively. If they're going to pay Beyonce $10 million or whatever, millions of dollars to Oprah, and it didn't move the needle. And if it did move the needle, she was down in the 20-point range, and they managed to bring it up a little bit.
You can't buy authenticity.
You cannot buy authenticity.
And the fact that I had a point and I lost it. Never mind.
But the other thing about it is like for her, the number one way that a politician like her can end up making her money back after an election like this is to go give really, really overpriced speeches, but she can't talk.
Nobody wants to hire her for a speech.
I mean, maybe if she was charging per word, then it might do really, really well. But otherwise.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.